Hello and welcome to Feeding Facts. In today's video we will discuss about World War I and how it all began. The World War I was a fight between the European countries. These included France, Germany, Russia, Britain, and Austria-Hungary. Great Britain was a leading Allied powers during the First World War of 1914 to 1918, fighting against the Central Powers, especially Germany. Britain had the richest industries, most trade, largest number of colonies 56 and biggest navy. The ruler of Britain at the time was King George V, who was a man who spent most of his years in the Royal Navy. Germany was less than 50 years old. Before there was no such country but instead was small states together. When all the states came together, there was a fight between the French and Germany. The French were scared of Germany becoming too strong and hence there was a war. This war was won by Prussia, the powerful state in Germany, and in return took Alsace and Lorraine. Germany was very powerful and was the leading country in terms of their army. Germany was led by Kaiser Wilhelm, who was a strong and energetic man who loved dressing in army clothes. Russia was the largest country in the world, but in the 1900s, it was one of the poorest. It was rich in minerals but were hardly used. Russia had great amounts of land but it was too cold for farming. The Russian Empire was a very weak giant. Russia had no colonies. Russia had a population of 159 million people and were led by Tsar Nicholas, who was a very weak man and not too clever. He was a bad judge. His son who had an incurable diseases, but he still had hope. Russia had several problems within the country. Most Russians lived in dreadful conditions and had a very little salary. The French were twice the size of Britain and about the same size as Germany. The land was fertile and French people were very hard-working. But in spite of all these advantages it was still weaker than Britain and Germany. France was a republic, and so the country had elected a president who was called President Raymond Poincaré. He was a clever and honest man but sometimes short-tempered. He was born and brought up in Lorraine. The people did not respect that well. The French lost their pride in the Franco-Prussian War, which was a war against Germany. They lost Alsace and Lorraine and were deeply in pain of losing them. Austria-Hungary was a patchwork empire, meaning it was split into two countries. Inside them there was different languages, different nationalities and different religions. Austria-Hungary did not want to capture any colonies as they already had problems within their country. Their leader was Franz Joseph, who was the oldest among the leaders. He was 84 years old. He had a rough life as most of his close friends and relatives were killed. He was quiet, serious and a devoted man to his country. Great Britain, Germany, Austria-Hungary and Russia all ruled many countries, colonies, across the world. They wanted to keep their empires strong and saw other countries taking over new territories as a threat. When Germany and Austria-Hungary took control of small countries like Bosnia and Morocco, the rest of the world thought they were being aggressive. This created tension, and so all the countries slowly started making alliances. An alliance is a union or association formed for mutual benefit, especially between countries or organizations. There were 5 alliances in the World War I. These were: Dual Alliance, Germany and Austria. The Triple Alliance, Germany, Italy and Austria. The Franco-Russian, France-Russia. The Entente Cordiale, Britain and France. The Triple Entente, Britain, Russia and France. In the lead-up to World War I, Britain and Germany were engaged in a naval arms race. A new generation of ships became central to the naval race, the dreadnoughts. Named after the Royal Navy's HMS Dreadnought, these castles of steel came to symbolize naval power in the early 20th century. Britain was quick to capitalize on its enduring naval supremacy and geographical position by establishing a trade blockade of Germany and its allies as soon as war began. There was a lot of tension between Germany and Britain as they both started to increase their ships and make them better. This was called the naval race and was one of the contributors to the World War I. As there was a lot of tension at sea, there was tension on land too. Germany and France were rapidly increasing their army and started equipping themselves. The two countries were also coming up with plans in case a war broke out. The Schlieffen Plan, created by Alfred von Schlieffen, who was a senior general in the German army. The Schlieffen Plan was created to avoid war between two fronts. Germany knows that the French and Russia have formed an alliance, and if Germany attacks one, the other one will fight back. This will be a big loss for German army as they have to split up. The plan stated the German army will first attack the French and within 6 weeks they will attack Russia, who was a French alliance. Plan 17, the French wanted revenge against Germany as they took Alsace and Lorraine. The Plan 17 stated in case a war broke out, the French army will capture the two lost provinces and cross River Rhine. This plan will only work if the army travels in high speeds. Just moments away for the World War to start as the tension between countries increase, all countries prepare for war and are ready to fight. The possible spark of the World War I is the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, who was killed in Sarajevo. Franz Ferdinand went to visit the army at Sarajevo. He announced it and everyone got to know it. He went along with his wife named Sophie Chotek, and they went in a convertible car as it was a sunny day. As they were driving a car sped along a riverside street, and one of them stepped out and threw a bomb towards the car. Ferdinand managed to deflect it and the driver quickly turned the car, but unfortunately it was the wrong way. The driver reversed and unfortunately came a man who was called Gavrilo Princip, who shot the two of them. The two of them died and Austria-Hungary blamed Serbia for his death. This created even more tension, and the other countries know that Austria-Hungary wanted to go in war.